Hi Rajiv, good to hear you on the BS Banking Show. NBFCs appear to be on a better track at this point in time. What is your sense of the business? Can you please elaborate on this?
Now, first of all, thank you, Raghu. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And when you talk about the NBFC sector, I think we are a part of the whole ecosystem. And the way you're seeing India on a strong trajectory of growth at this point of time, I think we all are riding on that growth, whether it's the banks or the NBFCs. We are, riding on that growth with the credit growing at closer to about 12% as expected this year. We believe that the NBFC sector should be growing at a pace which is better than this. And we're seeing this growth happening across sectors, largely on the retail side. There has been a pickup on the MSME side and on the working capital side. We still believe that it's, the whole space on the corporate side in terms of more investments have to still pick up. But on the other sectors, we are seeing good growth happening across industries.
Why is corporate credit growth still muted?
I think the sector was waiting for capacity utilizations to go up. When we saw the last data which was released, it showed a figure of just over 75% on capacity utilization. I think that is something which the industry had been waiting for. The other thing which would have probably progressed this further would have been a strong global economy, but that's got impacted at this point of time. So while capacity utilizations are up and there is move towards Make in India, we believe that the sector will pick up, but a larger pickup may get delayed if the global economy still remains muted.
With the global economy what it is and the switchover in interest rates, what will be the impact of wholesale borrowing rates and on your margins in particular?
If you notice, different players are in different product segments and customer segments. When interest rates have gone up, majority of the loans which most of the large lenders have are on floating rate loans, because of which they will be passing on this increase in interest rates to the final customers. Because of this, the impact on the margins may be minimal. Usually there is a lag between the increase in interest, increase in interest cost versus increase lending rates. There is usually a lag, but post that lag, I believe that the margins may not get any significantly impacted and they may remain the same.
Rajiv, despite corporate results being good, we are yet to see capacity expansion kick in a big way. What explains this?
Actually, the last numbers which I saw, capacity utilization has been picking up, and now actually it did cross 75% for most of the sectors. The GST collections is also shown a similar trend. And that's more because of the fact that we have a large domestic economy and things post-COVID have opened up completely. So the capacity utilizations have gone up. In fact, in the corporate lending segment, largely the loans are on floating rate. Almost all the loans on this, for the corporate segment are on floating rate. So the impact of rate increase may be marginal there because most of the impact will get passed on to the final customers.
How does the retail credit story look at this point in time?
In fact, if you see the breakup of GDP growth, the biggest growth is on the consumer side, on the retail side, led by housing and personal loans. So we are seeing strong growth in the retail sector. My belief is this, that if the overall economy in terms of credit sees a growth rate of 12%, retail should be growing somewhere between 15 to 20%. That's my expectation. and the demand seems to be robust. As I mentioned, housing is seeing great demand in terms of people wanting to purchase houses. Same is the situation on the auto segment. You see it for passenger vehicles, for two-wheelers. Two-wheelers, which was lagging, now growth is back. Passenger vehicles has been doing extremely well, with the commercial vehicle segment also recovering. I think the PV segment, the whole vehicle auto segment should do well. Similarly, the unsecured loans, personal loan, credit cards, both these sectors are doing extremely well. There was a big boost which the MSME got, while with the extension of the ECLGS schemes. So that growth in MSME also will be sustained. So the belief is this, that the retail and the MSME sector should grow at up of 15% for the year.
What explains the buoyancy in retail credit, even as we are yet to fully recover from the effects of the pandemic? Plus, job data has still some way to go.
Raghu, you're right. When you look at the period when COVID was there, a lot of people lost their jobs, and people who, some of them who didn't lose their jobs, did have their salaries getting impacted. Especially this happened for those employees who were in those industries which were high contact industries, and where the impact of the pandemic was more, whether it was travel, tourism, airlines, and so on, or schools and buses and some of these segments. But as the economy opened up, these people not only got their jobs, but in most of the cases, people are back to pre-pandemic salaries too. In fact, there are a lot of people who tell us in those industries that it is difficult to find people to work with, who can join them and take it forward. It's a problem with the tourism industry. It's that issue remains. And the other day I was reading in US, it's also an issue with school teachers. So in fact, we have moved to the other extreme, where there is a requirement of more people to come into those industries. So with the salaries coming back, with more people getting jobs, we are seeing demand coming back. Part of it could also be because of pent up demand, which is there, for example, in the passenger vehicle segment, where there are bookings. Who could have imagined there are, for buying a car, you could have 6 months of waiting period or more. So some of those things are there also. But if you look at data, it tells you that in most of the industries, while the growth is very good, you are now just about crossing the same level of business as you had at the pre-pandemic times. So it's a revival of those things, plus the fact that there are the overall growth which is happening in the market, as we are seeing on GDP. Though, so all of this is leading to a situation where we are seeing credit growth in the markets. We should remember that some of the growth which we are talking about, for example, in Q1, is over a smaller base of last Q1, which had got impacted.
Yes.
So, but if you look at the pre-pandemic numbers, we are just about ahead of them. So it's also because of the fact of low base that we are seeing this growth.
Can you give us a sense of the cross-selling strategy Tata Capital has vis-a-vis other Tata Group companies?
I think what is important for us to look at is which are the areas in which we can look at deriving synergies within the group. So we can't be direct lenders because there are limitations of what we can lend, because if we lend more than a particular amount, then that impacts our capital adequacy ratio. So we are not we don't lend directly to the group in terms of large quantums. We can't. I think what we are trying to focus on is there is a large base of employees of within the group?
Yeah.
Can we cross-sell more retail loans to them? There are a lot of people who are suppliers and vendors of large companies within the group. Can we be financial partners to them for lending? It could be for working capital or term loans. So it's more of the ecosystem lending which we do. Similarly, TCS it's a great company on the technology side. How can they support us on our tech platforms? So some of those synergies we look at in terms of working together. And so on lending side, it is more to do with the ecosystem. And as far as direct is concerned, that's a very, very small proportion. We don't have a large book in terms of lending directly to the group.
Thank you, Rajiv, for giving your time on the BS Banking Show. Looking forward to having you again sometime later. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Raghu. Thank you so much. And you too have a nice day.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
I am the blue of the limitless sky. I am the inspiration that led success soar high. I will achieve, I will fly high. I am the I in SBI.
I'm backed by the nation's trusted bank, SBI, the banker to every Indian.